It's like, in one thing you need gas for power, another thing you need electric for
Exactly.
power,
Yeah.
right? Some stuff you use water for power,
Mm-hmm.
right? So some things you use coal for power. You use
Mm-hmm.
different stuff. It's just like different crystals have different properties,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Okay.
So the stone that Stone Mountain is organically made of. It's formed into a actual crystalline structure. It's a
Mm-hmm.
pyramid.
Mm-hmm.
It's one of the older ones because the oldest ones grow forests on them and they call them mountains.
Mm. Mm.
But after
Mm.
sitting for so long unused, they get covered with soot. The soot turns to dirt.
Mm.
Then vegetation will naturally spring from the dirt. It's the
Yeah.
law of nature.
Uh-huh.
This just
Yes,
like the
sir.
Great Pyramid of China, right? Pull up Black Pyramid of Alaska,
Okay. Give me 1 second. You keep talking. I'm gonna pull it up. Right.
right? So when you understand that we was here, the mission is follow the biblical code. The biblical code is a supplanter code. What is a supplanter? It's an underminer. Who is the supplanter? Jacob. Who did he supplant? Esau. What's the description of Esau? He was ruddy red and hairy. The red man is who? The red man of the Americas. The ruddy red man is dark ass red.
Mm-hmm.
That's why they put ruddy in front of it instead of just red. One.
Mm. So this is in Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
So what's up? What's the science on this right here, Rod? What's this? What's going on with this right here?
That's a, we had to stop using that one because they opened a portal Stargate. The Stargate portal was part of a 3-point flux on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
It went from this pyramid system
Mm-hmm.
to La Palma to southwestern Mexico.
Mm-hmm.
And in that's how the enemy was able to escape the last great cleanup to get
Mm.
wicked off of Earth. So when you read in the Emerald Tablets of Thoth, he said that the Dark Brothers had escaped. When he got rid of them the first time, they was able to be called back in by the priests of the earth,
Mm-hmm.
right? He
Mm-hmm.
also tell you about creating Egypt in the Emerald Tablets too.
Mm-hmm.
So all of this is known to what you call academic scientists, right? Egyptologists knew this already, right? World historians knew it already. It's a secret
Mm.
kept in the Masonic Lodge, and you ain't supposed to know, and I'm telling it
Yes, sir. How do you know, brother?
because I studied the Masonic Lodge to find out what they teach. And when I found out what they teach, I began to study how they communicate. And once I study how they communicate, I begin to be able to read their language. And I
Mm-hmm.
could tell you what they're saying in the signs and symbols because I study signs and symbols.
Mm-hmm.
All of their information is public information.
Mm-hmm.
The only secret is you ain't supposed to know you organic to the land until you wake up of your own accord.
Mm-hmm.
The first one wake up, his job is to wake everybody else up. He become the alarm clock. Well, here I am, screaming like a motherfucker.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Rod, I heard you talk about in another interview also remote viewing. Now you talked earlier about voodoo and how they called it evil. A lot of this the our ancient sciences our people consider pseudo bullshit or whatever word, verb, adjective you want to use, but they just think it's some hocus pocus shit. Could you talk to us about remote viewing? Do you use it? How effective it is? All that stuff, my brother.
I do use control find out events, and I need to go back and see what they were. I used the techniques that was developed by the CIA called control remote viewing.
Mm,
Made a parody in a movie called Being Men Who Stare at Goats,
mm,
right? But it's based on a true story. When they dismantled Germany, Russia got all of the kooky sciences that they call fringe sciences. America got all the technicians in Operation Paperclip. Look it up. Operation Paperclip, when they began to find out the Russians knew all of the intelligence, but they couldn't figure out how they was doing it until a KGB agent defected and told them that they were using psychic spies to spy on America. So America commissioned the military to study it and find out if it's possible to create a psychic spy. And they formulated a technique called controlled remote viewing, where you can develop the mind to see distant places, what they call bilocation in your vision, where your mind can go to a place where your body can't.
That's powerful. So, is this something that we're all naturally gifted with? Is this something we knew how to do when we was young and we forgot because of the indoctrination? Is it hard? What would you say to somebody who wants a remote view right now, controlled remote view right now?
So it's instructional videos on YouTube from the creators, but I use the manual personally as my study guide. The manual, you can pick it up on Amazon for about $10
Mm,
or less if it's used. But
mm,
the thing about it is, it's the same technique as tarot card reading.
mm,
It's just in tarot card you are learning more detailed tuning of the senses than you do in control remote viewing. But the benefit of learning control remote viewing is it's applicable sooner than being able to intuit the tarot cards effectively.
mm, mm. I want to talk to you about our music. You keep
hmm
talking about the organic people of the land. Uh, is the music? What would you consider organic music? Does it matter if it's vulgar? If it talks about pussy popping, shooting this, shooting that? What do you think is? Cause maybe that might be subjective, but is hip
Our
hop?
music, no matter what our music is talking about,
Mm,
is telling us the chiefs what's going on the land.
mm,
If it's talking about pussy popping, booty shaking, if it's talking about robbing, stealing, killing, drug dealing, it's all telling. It's like a news reporter.
mm,
We can't get accurate news from the news media, but the stories that come across redundant in the rap is the grievance that's vexing the
mm,
community,
okay,
right? And those
okay,
things that come out as love stories in the song is the affection of the community.
yeah,
So
mm,
we can tell the status of relationships by the content of the love song.
yes.
So we know where the family relationships is. When we hear songs like "Ain't Nothing Going On But the Rent," we
You
understand
knew what was
that,
going on at that time.
right. We know what's going on in the community is the sisters is getting frustrated to the point where if you ain't bringing something to the table, they not letting you sit down,
Right.
right? So, cause in our real culture, our women will give you all of the money if you about something.
Mm,
But so many of them got burnt by motherfuckers that was a waste of space and taking up oxygen that real people could be breathing. They become scorned, and then they start telling the next dude, "Ain't nothing going on but the rent."
got to have a J-O-B. If you want to A with me. I know the
That means
song.
that
It's
man,
going
see,
on.
the
But the
woman don't
red.
really care if you got a job or not. She'll go get one.
Facts, facts,
But you
facts.
got to be willing to pick up the slack where she fall off. If she go out and work, you got to be willing to do the housework, right? Some women don't want to stay at home for raising the kids for 30 years. They want to go out and experience the world as a worker,
Mm-hmm.
right? Worker give them the opportunity to meet new friends, form new alliances, and find out what's going on with the sisters across the land. So some of them have to work. It's ingrained in them to do this investigation. So the
Mm,
guy that they pick have to be willing to understand the culture enough to know that when a woman is trying to work, she ain't just trying to go to work. She's trying to find out what we need to be doing in our relationship to help the land heal. Right? Heal the people on the land. We more concerned about our people than we are about ourselves. Because the plight of our people is going to be the overall plight of our children. Right? So if we could care about the future, we have to protect the future by protecting the children. Right? Because when we get done raising the children, guess what they go own? The future. So we own the now. As the adults and as the elders, we own the now. That's our job. But what we going to do with it in order for it to be a benefit for our children so that the future, they shouldn't have to solve the same stupid problems that we working with that our parents didn't solve. Right? So they got us fighting for civil rights. Civil rights is fighting to be a part of a corporation as a civil servant. As a civil servant, you become a trustee in a slave camp. Right? But we didn't know it. That's why Martin came out when Elijah told him what was going on, because he didn't know. Right? So when Elijah came out and told him what was going on, he told us, I think I might, he told Harry Belafonte, I think I might have integrated my people into a burning house. What is he talking about? The fall of America. Elijah Muhammad wrote a book called The Fall of America. Right? So all of these things become relevant. When you listen to him explaining and vexing his grievance on the NBC interview, he tell the whole story, how they displaced us from the land, mechanized the land, picked people who didn't look like us to replace us as the owners of the land. But the part he didn't know is the niggas that owned the big house wasn't us, but they looked like us. And they used those people that they called a slave master to hide as the house nigga. And that's why our people don't like house niggas.
If they was not us, who were they?
They were conquistadors, blackamoors.
The Moors. The Moors was the sellouts then.
No, they're not sellouts.
They were just
You gotta
slave.
understand,
I'm
they the
trying to
attackers.
the
It's a
attackers.
chess game.
Okay.
So this is why they always tell you that black and white are classifications. If you don't understand the classification, you can't unravel the deception.
Okay.
Right? So
Yeah.
as long as you identifying and using the paperwork of your enemy to try to write your way into the law as a legitimate person, proves you an imbecile in law, which means you have no right to your inheritance of the land. But when the gig is up, is when you realize that they use a nation as a corporation. All nations is governed under Uniform Commercial Code. Uniform Commercial Code governs all international trade. They've been trading our labor under the false pretense of giving us jobs. They gave us monopoly money called fiat, right? To replace the gold that they not allowed to use, but they can keep us from using it too.
Why they not allowed to use it?
Because it
What do
ain't
you mean?
theirs. They have no birthright to it.
They got it all under the World Trade Center, right?
Under the White House, all kind of
Yeah.
places. They got them in tunnels everywhere,
Uh-huh.
right? So those are what they call the royal coffers. Every land had royal coffers. Europe had their own. The Moors looted it. But they created something called a Khazarian Jew, which was actually bankers from the high mountains of Prussia. So now
Okay.
you wonder, now you seeing what's going on over there in Russia. It's a war against the Khazarian mafia.
You connecting dots right now, brother. God damn, you connected some dots. Okay, be careful. Go ahead, talk.
Okay, now who he trying to get rid of? Right? Now he said he was trying to get rid of the cabal. Who was Trump trying to get rid of? What he called them? The cabal, right?
Mm-hmm.
In the cabal, he also called the deep state. State is those ones who had their real meeting places deep underground in bunkers.
Mm-hmm.
That's so that me and you don't know what they talking about
Mm-hmm.
unless we know control remote viewing.
Mm-hmm.
Then we the fly on the wall, Miley Cyrus, right? And as the fly on the wall, we get enough information to come through like a wrecking ball,
Mm. Talk to
right?
him. Talk to him.
So even the ones that don't look like us know the code,
Mm-hmm.
right? Listen to what she's saying in Fly on the Wall. She's trying to listen in on the conversation,
Mm-hmm.
right? And how do you listen in on you become the fly on the wall? How do you do that? Control remote viewing, right? Once you learn control remote viewing, you can actually go look for yourself. I went looking for Jesus and I couldn't find him.
Come on, brother. Don't say that. Don't say that,
But I can
brother.
tell you who I did
Who
find.
you found? Who you found?
I found Cleopatra. Ask these ask these
And
people where her tomb at.
and I'm not even joking. What did she? What happened when you found her? I'm not. I'm very.
She was running for her life is what happened. They told you she committed suicide
Mm,
with an adder.
mm,
Don't know. They didn't do that back then.
mm,
That's not how they killed themselves.
mm.
Just like that model that they said jumped out
Jumped
that
off the
building.
building. Yeah,
That's not how women commit suicide.
that's a man. Yeah, yeah.
That's out of context. They're
Mm.
telling us, chiefs on the land, look at the situation. It ain't what they telling you. It doesn't match. And what Johnny Cochran say about the glove with OJ?
If it don't fit, you must quit.
Right. So
Allegedly,
if the story don't fit the narrative
acquit.
they giving,
Acquit. I'm sorry.
if the story not fitting the narrative they giving, right? Now we know from experience. We can look this shit up. There was a genius they decided to throw out of a building of a mental institution to say he was insane, right? Because he was revealing top secret information that they didn't know how he got, right? But the problem is they couldn't explain how he unscrewed the gate that covered up the window
Mm,
on the inside and the outside while he was handcuffed. It
mm,
didn't make sense.
mm,
So the people that questioned it, they called them quacks and conspiracy theorists.
mm,
The same thing they did with Charles Manson for telling us that they sent him out to start a race war.
mm,
But we
mm.
so busy listening to the race
To
war
the
part,
media.
we ain't
Yeah,
understanding that he giving us a warning.
yeah.
He telling us all the dirt they told him about poisoning the water with fluoride,
Mm,
cutting down the trees so we can't hardly breathe, but we think we breathing normal, but they cutting them down so fast that we have to adapt to breathing on less oxygen, which deprives the brain of breath.
mm,
And breath is spirit.
mm-hmm.
So if you deprive somebody of spirit, you're depriving them of life. This is all orchestrated. So then they set the man up, accused him of some murders that he ain't had nothing to do with. They said they knew what Charlie wanted, but he never gave them the order. Make that shit make sense.
Mm.
But none of us can pay attention enough to the details because we're looking at the overall description that the media paint. The media is a disinformation specialist.
Specialist. Specialist.
How you think a man get off with the Twinkie defense? The narrative the media painted is what got him off. Not that he ate a Twinkie and killed motherfuckers in front of the courthouse. That didn't get him off.
Mm.
The media narrative is what got him off.
The media narrative,
It's
yes.
the same with the boy walking down the street shooting motherfuckers. As soon as they called the people looters, he beat the case.
Mm.
He became the only competent law enforcement agent on site for a citizen's arrest.
Mm.
In the minds of the people that's the oppressor control.
Mm.
When they called the people that got shot looters,
Looters.
it's the
That's.
same as saying criminals, it's the same as saying attackers.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
They said it was a mob, which told him that it was a whole bunch of them. He automatically have to defend himself.
Mm-hmm.
In any property, they tend to be trying to so-called loot.
Mm-hmm.
So whether he was right or wrong became inconsequential to the media onslaught of the disinformation campaign.
Mm-hmm.
When they get away with saying certain things in the media, you done,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because the people following a well written narrative, like they following the storyline on a movie, they probably can follow the storyline on the movie better.
Mm-hmm.
The storyline in real life is showing you what they doing in your face.
Mm-hmm.
But it makes it into a parody that you can never believe because they attach terms like conspiracy, conspiracy theorists, quack, fringe information, you know. And then
Mm-hmm.
they say that the information ain't true, but they have the documents in their hands while they saying it,
Mm-hmm. Facts.
you know.
Hey, Rod, I want to take this time to we're getting ready to get to the Q&A from the people.
Yes,
I mean, this
sir.
this this whole show has been complete fire so far. I want to thank you for your time. It's one thing that people keep asking for, Rod, and this is the beautiful part about our people. We criticize our people a lot, but what's beautiful about them is that they're willing to support those who support them. So they're asking for your cash app, brother. I want to put your cash app on the screen, and because you're on my show, and because my people support, I got a great audience. You're gonna be blessed, brother. What's your cash app?
I'm typing it now.
Yeah, make sure you support this brother Rod Hayes out there putting in the work.
You
You
see it?
know,
I sent it to you in the private chat, so you
let
can
me see.
copy it.
Let me see. Okay, give me a second, family. I wanna put this brother's cash app up. I'm about to share mine. I'm gonna put his as well. I don't make sure. All right. All right, family. So I got the brother Rod Hayes Cash App. Before we get to Q&A, you know how we do on the show. Got the brother Rod Hayes Cash App. I got my Cash App, man. Make sure you support the individuals who support y'all. I mean, this information that the brothers dropping, the pyramids that we just showed for this Alaska. We went to Stone Mountain. We talked, man, listen, if you ain't got goosebumps after watching this show so far, I don't know what to tell you. But this is it right here. This is what we supposed to be giving our energy to. So with that being said, family, make sure
Yeah.
you hit the like button, that support, and give me some good questions in the chat room. We're gonna get in. We've been on here for about an hour and 20 minutes. We're gonna get into about 20, 25 minutes of Q&A. I ain't gonna keep the brother on here too long, but we're gonna get into about 20 minutes of Q&A. But make sure you support my guests. Make sure you support me for putting this together, being a mastermind. Make sure you support my guests for
Now
bringing that work. Yeah, go brother.
I had to say this as a witch doctor, we don't solicit donations.
You want me to take it off? Or
Mm-mm. But if somebody asks,
okay.
then they're allowed to donate.
They certainly ask, brother. They
But right,
hey.
so I just gotta make that clear because I
Okay.
don't never charge nothing. Like on my platforms, when I do lives, they can listen to me for free,
Okay.
or sometimes they ask for the cash app. I'm
Mm,
obligated to give it to them, and this is the reason why. Reciprocity is the reason.
okay.
Gratitude offerings facilitates the reciprocity. It creates an energy circuit. If I tell them no when they offer, it's blocking their blessings, not mine.
mm. Well, that's interesting. That's
So I had to
interesting.
accept it because me accepting it with the gratitude that they gave it, it's an equal exchange,
Mm,
right? And
mm,
it's facilitated on the return to them by increments of 10, right? So this is what they be talking about in the church, but they be soliciting donations, which nullifies the effect to the giver.
mm,
And
mm.
all of the benefit end up in the hands of the asker.
Instead of the giver who
Right.
wants to give, you're
So
blocking
that's
it.
that's why you have to do it this way. That's why you
That's
don't come in, boom, here's my cash app.
mm,
It's because you have to offer something that the people feel you should be compensated for because nobody else is offering this for free.
mm.
And they
Indeed.
do it out of the goodness of their
But they
heart. That's
are.
that's their obligation to themselves, not to me.
Mm.
Right. So
They
that way
I,
they
I,
don't
I,
feel beholden to give. They do it of their own free will.
they
Right? Because they
they
want to do it.
They gonna support you on their own free will. I hear your phone, brother. I
That wasn't
hear
my
you.
phone. That was yours.
Okay. Let's get to some questions. I got
Yep.
somebody said, what does he think about Mount Shasta in Cali? What you think, my brother?
It's a powerful energy vortex. It's on a ley line and it's on a ritual site of the old ancients.
Mm,
So Mount Shasta is a good place to visit, and it's make sure you drink plenty of water out there too. But around the equinoxes, spring, summer, winter, and fall, the energy is highest because that's when they held the festivals in ancient times to draw the energy there. So it's been done for so long. In ancient times, the energy still comes through. When the people come through, they interact with the energy, and that keeps the energy coming through.
mm,
Right. So it's a perpetual cycle of energy based on ancient ceremonial practice on that land.
mm,
That's not the only one around. They got them all up and down the Mississippi. Those that's named after the cities of Egypt, or the cities of Egypt is named after, have mounds in the near proximity where rituals was held at different times of the year. And you get with the natives and they know the land, they know when the rituals was held. They'll naturally congregate there around that time of the year.
mm,
It's like
mm,
Mardi Gras,
mm,
right? Mardi Gras is an ancient festival. You try to take Mardi Gras away from New Orleans, and we gonna tear this bitch up.
mm,
You can take all of the cultural aspects you think you taking. If you take Mardi Gras, the NO will tear this place down. They tried it already, and they seen what happened.
mm,
It's a part of the culture that the people of New Orleans will not. They not giving it up because that tells us so much information in the Mardi Gras festival. When one of the chiefs go to Mardi Gras, they get a whole report off the parade.
mm. Let's get to the next question. Any information on people who helped them steal our magic? People like Benjamin Banneker, built in Washington, D.C., and Pascal Beverly Randolph, who taught them occult magic. What side were they on?
So the only way you can tell what side was they on is by what they put in the public domain,
Mm,
right? If what they put in the public domain is not legible, right, or is so minuscule that you can't put their motives together, they wasn't working for us.
okay. Let's get to the next question. Once again, family, I got the brothers Cash App on the screen. If you are interested, let's get to the next.
That's not accurate.
That's the dollar sign SIKAPE. No.
The S and the A has to be capital.
Okay. I don't.
So it's dollar sign capital S I K capital A P E. While you doing that, can you pin the next question up?
Yeah. What's next for melanated people?
Organize our grassroots level, and the sky is the limit. Ain't no limit. Melanated people can and always have been able to do whatever they choose to when they support one another. That's right there.
Okay. Let's get to the next question. Okay. Do you know of any pyramids or sacred places in Arkansas?
Arkansas is Cherokee territory. Um, I don't remember the exact location, but I know there's mounds in Arkansas.
Mhm.
In various places too.
Okay, let's get to the next question. What's Rod's insight? This is Keebalon 44. Shout out that brother. He's been on the show before. What's your thoughts on nuclear fission? Fusion. I'm sorry,
Fusion.
fusion. Yes, I'm sorry.
Right. So now we talking about splitting atoms. And the nuclear fusion is the core of the nucleus of two atoms become merged But the side effect of that is in order to rebalance, is going to cause a reaction, a chain reaction, right? It's the same with the fission. The splitting of the atom
Mm-hmm.
causes the particles to split other atoms, right? So the fission is going to become like a magnet to attract and cluster other atoms.
Mm-hmm. Okay, okay. Let's get to the next. Uh, why does the fam from the Caribbean fit into the narrative of Native American? What do you suggest those who traded in their nationality to become American citizens do to claim their land?
Okay, so in order to become an American citizen, you had to accept your straw man. So you have to go back to your family, have a family reunion, and rename everybody with no birth certificate, right? And you
Mm-hmm.
give them the name. Your nickname is you using the customs of the land to develop a natural name,
Your
right?
nickname.
Your nickname,
Hmm.
right? That's how you end up with. You think Sitting Bull real name was Sitting Bull? His real name is Christopher Wallace,
mm. I didn't know
right?
that. Christopher
So,
Wallace.
well, we call him Sitting Bull
Yes.
because he was sitting down on the job when they came and he supposed to kept them out,
Mm.
right? So we called him Sitting Bull. He was being lazy. He didn't
Mm.
believe the scouts when they told him, and he
Mm.
got sacked, right?
Mm.
Just like Crazy Horse, you know who that is?
Mm. Mm.
ODB.
Mm. Mm.
That's why he had to play the Hyoka, the sacred clown, perform the sacred clown dance and tell the truth in the public domain where they can't do nothing to you because they gonna have you classified as crazy and mentally deranged.
Mm.
So who he say was trying to kill him? He said Bush and them niggas.
Mm.
Who? What is he talking about? The deep state, the Illuminati.
Mm.
George Herbert Walker Bush was the leader of this part of the country, a world for the Illuminati,
Mm.
right? So he was the highest ranking member. How do I know this? Because, and if you read Behold a Pale Horse, he gave the exact defense bill that he made himself King George the First of the United States, and no other king, no other president can act without his permission.
Mm.
That means that everybody that came after him until his ass was dead was a puppet.
Mm. Mm.
Now, who came after him? His adopted son, Bill Clinton, right?
Mm.
His real son, G. Dummy,
Mm.
right? And his adopted or his godson, Barry, right? Y'all ain't even know he had a Bush connection, did you?
Obama, you mean Obama?
Yep.
Yeah.
Barry Del Sotoro. That's
Mm.
his name. That's his name. Barack Obama is his stage name, his front name, in order to get the so-called Negro vote.
Mm.
See, if he can get most of the Negro vote, he can sway the vote because he can get the uptown vote if he's approved by specific people in the Democratic Party. Hillary
Mm.
Clinton, Bill
Mm.
Clinton, they work for the Bushes too.
Let's get to the next question. What is the significance of the number 19? I guess this is important. We talked about Dr. Malachi York earlier, and I
Hmm.
believe he's the one that said we are from the 19th galaxy, which is totally out there for most of our people. So talk about the significance of the number 19, my brother.
So that's coming through numerology, specifically through Babylonian numerology, coming through Islam. 19 is the sacred seal. The sacred seal is called that because it's the alpha, is the one, and the omega is the birth process, the end of the birth. It's 9 months. So you got alpha meets omega at 19. So you seal it with the beginning and the end,
Mm-hmm.
right? And then if you add 1 plus 9, you end up with 10. That's the alpha going back to the beginning, right? So it doesn't matter how you flip the number. Once you understand why it represent what it represent, you still gonna see what it say.
Mm-hmm.
right? Numerically, 0 is first, 9 is last,
Mm-hmm.
right? We talking about what they call uh, a decinumeral system, a 10-point numeral system. 0 is first because it's a placeholder for nothing. That means wherever 0 at, don't nothing go there. From there, you end up at 1 when you get the first one. So numerically, you counting from 1 to 9. But we didn't count from 1 to 9. We counted from 9 to 1 because we read from right to left, not left to right,
Mm.
right? So when they flipped us left to right, I mean right to left, from left to right, they flipped the 1 in front of the 9 instead of the 9 in front of the 1, right? But the 91 is the year of the first attack on the World Trade Center. Remember, blow up like the World Trade,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it also tells the secrets of what's happening at the end, right? So it all become relative. That's why you come with 9/11. 9/11 can be scrambled into a 191 anagram. One being on both sides of the 9 represents the beginning meets the end through destruction,
Mm-hmm.
right? So that's what they was giving us. They had to give us 3 knocks in 5-year increments roughly to let us know they was coming to take over the world. And then we got to stop them.
Mm-hmm.
So George Bush had his Arab connections. We know he was connected to the Bin Ladens because they helped all of the Bin Laden family leave America directly on the same day as 9/11, and they was the only planes allowed to leave.
Mm-hmm.
So they had to be protected by the Bush family, right? So we know that the one of the Bin Ladens died leaving the Bush farm in Texas. This is recorded, right? So that show proves also the Arab connection to the Bin Laden family, right? And the Bin Laden family is the construction or the Masonic family of um, the Middle East because they was getting all of the royal contracts to build the palaces,
Mm-hmm.
right? They didn't start building palaces in the Middle East until 1933 when they discovered that it was massive amounts of oil in Saudi,
Mm-hmm.
right? Nation of Islam started in 1933,
Mm-hmm.
right? So now we're talking about 1933, and the three is 6, right? So that's the other end of the 191 on the turnaround,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it all becomes relative depending on the angle you look at the problem. Most people look at the surface of the problem and never look at the intricacies and the workings of the problem in order to establish a solution.
Mm-hmm.
The only solution is for us is to stand up in our individual capacity, demand the chiefs come tell us where these imposters at on the land and have y'all got them out yet. That's what we need to know.
Mm-hmm. Let's get to the next question. When and how will the Caucasians leave this planet to get balance?
The Caucasians is not the problem. The problem is the ones that look like us, that ain't from here. They the problem. They know who they is and they know they leaving. They tell you all the time they ain't staying here. When you listen to their lives and they talking about leaving here, that's because they was part of the problem and that's why they can't stay. It was all skin colors of people in the families of the earth tribes, all hair textures. So that ain't nothing new to us. What's new to us is to use those physical descriptions as tools of division. That's new to us. So that answer?
Yeah, pardon my mic. Sometimes I get a little short in this mic. Let's get to the next question. You know, somebody asked, I don't see the question now, and this is one of the questions I want to ask you earlier. So let me just ask this now because I see somebody remind me of it. Your thoughts on the blue star Kachina? Talk to me because I seen you posted that in your Instagram. What's the deal? What's the science on that? What's going on with the blue star Kachina?
Well, there's an ancient Hopi prophecy about the red star Kachina and the blue star Kachina um, returning at the close of the age to usher in the new world for the rainbow children and the children of the stars.
Mm-hmm.
So the they are just symbols to match the stellar clock, what's going on in time.
Mm-hmm.
They also made Kachina dolls that tell the story of what takes place at that time. So they say two stars rise up, a red one and a blue one, and these are the Kachinas.
All right, all right. Let's get to the next question. We're gonna take about three more questions, then we're gonna get out of here, family. I want to appreciate everybody for tuning in. We got about 1,800 people in here. I'm with Brother Rod Hayes, and he's dropping jewels. It's been a magnificent broadcast. Let's see. Where will we stand? Someone asked, "What's the difference between a shaman and a heyoka?" Yeah.
Okay, so a Hyoka is a extreme empath, and he normally a shaman interact more with the community than the Hyoka. When you see the movies and they go out into the wilderness to meet an old man that live in the house by itself in the middle of nowhere, he would be a Hyoka, but he can also be a shaman, right? And but when you're in the village and you have the medicine man of the village, he is the shaman of the village. When he gets stuck on the problem, he go to the Hyoka for assistance in the problem. In the Christian religion, they will be called Melchizedek priests.
Mhm. Indeed. Uh, Rod mentioned the stock market fall. What role does cryptocurrency play in the plan, if any? Is cryptocurrency good or bad for us?
Right now, with until this old system is done with, I do not advocate for any kind of currency, um, because I don't. It's hard to see the ones that's for us and the one that they trying to create to undermine us to stay in power. So I don't put a stamp of approval on any of their currencies until we can see it on the outcome what they are. I don't trust none of them.
Mhm. Okay. What's the connection between humans and water?
It's the same connection as a mother to a child. The water is a symbol for spirit. The human brain is over 70% water. The human body is over like 70% water. So the connection is an indispensable connection between humans and water. Water is also the natural antifreeze of the body. That's why even in cold climates you got to stay hydrated to stay warm, right? But in this hot climates you got to stay hydrated so that you can stay cool. And the perspiration is the water being flushed through the system, right? And the water flushes the toxins out of the system. So water is very critical to the survival of the human as a creature.
Indeed. Alchemy Goddess wants to know, what is a diamond baby? I haven't been able to find a lot of information on that.
So study under crystal child and look for a blue crystal child would be synonymous with what they would call a diamond baby. They're just coming from the frequency of which one of the star seeds or indigos they are, right? So you hear them say the ruby child, sapphire. They talking about the colors on the rainbow that they energy represent, right? And one of the colors on the rainbow is a pale blue, which is the color of the diamond, represented as the color of the diamond in ancient writing, which is also the color of several other stones, but the diamond being the preeminent stone, clear stone, holds the position and the highest position of that color, right? So
Mm.
this is what the so when you're looking for information on the diamond baby, you look for the information under the indigo child and you look under the blue indigo and you will match the energy up.
We're gonna take one more question, my brother. Is that cool?
Hmm.
All right. Is symbolism more important than speech?
It depends on the learning style of an individual. Because some people learn auditory and some learn visual. A person that learns visual symbolism can be more important than speech. But a person that learns an audio, the speech will be able to explain the symbol and help them to understand it even better. Right? So they become, it's based on your learning style more so than a blanket yes or no.
Okay, okay. I think that's about it, family. I think that's the last question we gonna take. Oh man, let me fix my hat. Such a great show, my brother. I'm sitting back. I'm just enjoying myself. I'm listening. Wow, man. I look forward to you being a regular on here, my brother. I look forward to
I
you being
told
a
you
regular.
whenever you need me, man. I appreciate you helping us get the word out so we can get our people to understand we ain't come on no ships.
Mm-hmm.
We not black.
Mm-hmm.
We ain't white.
Mm-hmm.
We not a crayon,
Mm-hmm.
right? We
Mm-hmm.
organic to the land. We was
Mm-hmm.
already here before anybody named Christopher Columbus came snooping around to see how to take over our people,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
If we return back to our original oral tradition, we can chant down Babylon.
Mm-hmm.
And the battle cries free Larry Hoover for all those that understand the concept.
Mm-hmm.
As long as you ain't saying that, either you don't understand or you not part of us. Because you got some people that's from Africa over here that blended in with us that's not our enemy. But they ain't our allies either because they want to carry on the narrative that the slave master gave us that we came from Africa. So I just asked them to just stay out of the way till we done cleaning this shit up. And then they'll know that we ain't had no hard feelings against them because they got invaded and colonized just like us.
Mm-hmm.
We just realized that they ain't us and we ain't them.
Mm-hmm.
And it's not personal, it's just family business. And the family business right now is to restore the matriarchy, demand the three kings, and protect the children. That's family business. It's not personal. And anybody that can't vibe with that ain't part of the family.
Mm-hmm.
Because those are the main sticking points or glue points that bind us all together. Mama, the babies, and the future.
Mama, the babies in the future. Yes, sir.
Right? Because in our community, we don't talk back to our mama, not because we don't know how,
Yeah.
right? That's just not our tradition and our
It's,
customs.
it's
And
non-stop.
when
Right.
we see little Bobby and them do that shit, we be
We be
shocked.
like, what the fuck? We be like, what they doing?
Right?
Yeah,
That's not our culture,
yeah.
but it's their culture, right? That same child would turn up, grow up, and will bust your ass about talking reckless to his mama, but he talked reckless to her all his childhood.
Mm-hmm. That's
But
fact.
when he become an adult, he don't talk reckless to her no more.
Mm-hmm.
Only by being around them would you ever see that part.
Mm-hmm.
The
Mm-hmm.
way that they rear children is not the same as how we rear children.
Mm-hmm.
We rear our children to survive the most hostile of life conditions.
Mm-hmm.
It's called oppression,
Mm-hmm.
subjugation,
Mm-hmm.
infiltrated and subverted,
Mm-hmm.
right? We got to get out of it
Mm-hmm.
so that we can get our children out of it,
Mm-hmm.
right? So this is where we figure out the banana in the tailpipe is every divisive tool they could find,
Mm-hmm.
right? Because at one time, all of the nations of the earth spoke one language until somebody named Yahweh divided up the languages.
Yahweh.
And they say that the devil's means of control is divide and conquer.
Mm-hmm.
So if Yahweh divided up the language to divide up the people to stop them from coming to heaven, who the hell is he really?
Mm-hmm.
And Yahweh in the Sumerian tablets is called Enlil,
Mm-hmm.
Lord of the sky,
Mm-hmm.
Lord of the booming voice, right? And he's the one that say he's a jealous guy. Well, we don't deal in jealousy because that's a contagious, toxic behavior that's passed on and taught. It's not natural to us.
Mm-hmm.
When you see us behaving out of jealousy, it's because we trying to act like our oppressors.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
That's not part of our culture. I don't care if you got more than me, as long as you respect me like I respect you. I don't care if you got less than me, as long as you respect me like I respect you.
Mm-hmm.
So while we was worrying about respecting each other, they was worrying about getting more than we got.
Mm-hmm.
But when they found out they can't have what we got because we not buying it, now they fighting for their life.
Mm-hmm.
Literally. On Earth. Because they won't be here. I don't know where they going, but they can't stay here.
Why they
Right?
can't stay here?
No, they can't stay here. They didn't cause too many problems already.
Mm-hmm.
So wherever they go, they just can't stay here. And they'll tell you they leaving. They know they leaving. They feel it in their soul. The
Mm-hmm.
same way the ones of us that's from organic to the land know we ain't going nowhere.
Mm-hmm.
We not worried about your hurricanes, tornadoes, earthquakes, because wherever they affect is where the dirt going down, and if some of us got to get caught up in the cleanup, oh well, mama had to do it that way because she had
Mm-hmm.
to get the cancer out.
Mm-hmm.
Right? That's how we look at it. They look at it like, oh no, we got to stop the tornado with a bomb.
Phew.
Because you know they do have a bomb designed to stop tornadoes.
I've heard about it.
Right? We ain't paying attention because it's tornadoes in November.
Mm-hmm.
Way past tornado season,
Mm-hmm.
you got tornadoes and they marching in mass together in a three-man formation. That's Mother Nature demanding that we see the three kings walking on the land because she needs to fill the big mama seat to bring the balance back to earth.
Mm. Mm.
So once the big mama seat get filled, then all of the matriarchs get their post
Mm.
across the land,
Mm.
right? In the meantime, you got the chiefs have to open the way. That's our job. And all of the chiefs not men. It's probably more female chiefs on the land than it is males.
Mm.
An example, if you could pull her up, Chief Warhorse is her name.
Let me see.
She a real chief with the real blood tied to the land that know her history, right? She come from a long family of chiefs. And all of them wasn't men, and all of them wasn't women.
Okay, I think I got it. Let me share this. I think I got it. This her right here?
That's her.
Okay. So who's this now? Please explain. Now that we got a
That's Chief.
picture.
Her name is Chief Warhorse,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Now you can pull her up on YouTube explaining what happened to her people in the Trail of Tears and how they got separated from them $5 Indians that they used the Trail of Tears to switch us out.
Mm-hmm.
You ain't know that, did you?
No, I've heard about I just did a show recently about dealing with that. Yeah.
Yeah. So during the Trail of Tears is where they switched us out. The problem is in order for the $5 Indians to learn our culture, they had to put a woman with them, one of the elder priestesses, to teach them the traditions and the customs.
Mm.
So now they know all our shit, and now they got to give it back.
Mm.
It ain't personal; it's just family business. Big Mama told them that when my babies come, y'all give it back.
Mm.
They agreed, right? All of the treaties was made with $5 Indians. It wasn't made with us.
Mm.
There is no um, record of a treaty with Choctaw. There's no record of Seminole treaties. There is no record of Hopi treaties.
Mm.
All of the treaties is the clans that was the biggest clans, the easiest to usurp, because it was so many of us of so many differing looks.
Mm.
That's why they call it the Great Melding Pot when they got here,
Mm.
because we had all skin colors and we all lived peaceful.
Mm.
Now all of a sudden, here come these motherfuckers, and then now we don't live peaceful no more, and
Mm.
we oppress, and we don't have access to Big Mama's money, right? So this is where we at.
Mm.
So the unity in the community is the key to freedom. The battle cry is free Larry Hoover. With that comes all of the other chiefs in the land that's held behind bars. political prisoners, we call them, right? All of the ones whose land they usurped, they have to give it back now
Mm.
because it's tribal land. And under the Indigenous Rights Act of 2017, they agreed. They already said they was gonna give it back, and also, right, almost all of this shit we seeing on TV right now is pushing a narrative that does not exist, all to distract us from the Free Larry Hoover movement of the indigenous people of the land and restore the tribes back to their prominence. Right? So that's where we at as a people, and this is what we have to do. The easiest way to get us free is for us all to say the same thing at the same time in agreement. The more of us do it, the faster it happens.
Mm.
Most of us aren't educated to the matter. So then you share the information, you study the information and check it out, validate it for yourself, and then you explain it because you can only explain it from your level of understanding.
Mm.
My level just happened to be a little different because I had a lot more study time.
Mm. Hey, brother Rod Hayes, I want to thank you for coming on the show. You lit it up. You lit
I
it up
appreciate you
tonight.
having me, man.
Yeah, man, you lit it up tonight. Wow. I mean, the people are thoroughly appreciative for what you brought to the table tonight, my brother.
It was
Uh,
a sister I seen on here a couple days ago
mm.
talking about Big Mama.
Sister Myra, that's Sister Myra.
Right, send her a shout out for me.
Okay, yeah, I would tell her. I would tell her. What you thought about that show? You liked it?
Oh yeah, she's talking about Big Mama. I know
Yeah,
what she's talking about. We
yeah.
speak the same language. I
Same language.
understand what she's telling me.
I'm gonna continue that narrative for forever and from now on. Big Mama. I'm gonna continue that Big Mama cosmic energy. This is my job to continue to carry on that narrative of Big Mama. So yeah, anybody talking about Big Mama, they welcome to my show as long as it comes from a pure intent. So I want to
Hmm.
thank you. I want to thank Sister Myra. Any contact information you want to leave the people with before you get out of here, my brother? Because
The easiest
yeah.
the easiest way to find me right now is on Instagram. I got two pages. One I post Rod Hayes,
Mhm.
and they won't let me do lives on that one, so I have to do my lives on.
Buddy. Yo, no, I'm just joking. Shout out to everybody in chat. Hey, listen, Rod Hayes. First of all, welcome back, my brother. Welcome back. Oh, right. You on mute. You on mute. There you
Thank
go. Yeah,
Yeah, I was saying thank you for having me back.
indeed.
I caught a taste of you on I think it was Telegram earlier.
Oh, Clubhouse. Clubhouse.
Clubhouse. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. I was with
Yeah.
Lisa. I was with
Yeah.
Lisa. Yeah. Okay. Oh, so you,
She
you heard the
tried to
interview.
she tried to put me on to speak, but I wanted to listen to you.
Okay. Dope. Dope. Dope, man. Okay. What you thought about the interview, man?
Yeah, I knew you had it. I knew you had that erudition, that study behind you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And the description you gave was familiar to me because it reminded me of my studies
Mm.
and people saying I don't know what I'm talking about. And I literally got about 25 totes full of books downstairs from my
Mm.
library to be transported. And I
Oh,
ain't even done packing them up.
damn. Wow. Yeah, man. Well, I'm glad you got an opportunity to hear the interview. Shout out to Lisa. I think the name of her channel on Clubhouse is Matrix Unveiled. But I just did an interview. She actually interviewed me, family. So I did an interview with the Queen on her Clubhouse. So shout out to everybody who listened for that. But right now, listen, family, there's so much going down. Ryan, let me ask you before we get started. Let me see if I can pull this up while I'm talking to you about it. There's so much talk in the science community and a quantum physics community about this James Webb telescope that they are saying is getting images that they have never gotten before and that people have been waiting for a lifetime. So I don't have you heard about this James Webb telescope? You know what I'm talking about?
I haven't had a chance to look into that.
Okay,
But
okay.
I'll look into it and then I'll get back with you on it so
Mm,
I can be up to speed on what it's talking about. But if you think about it, when they launched the Hubble telescope and
mm,
it was sending pictures back, it was pictures that they had never seen before
mm,
from deeper in space that is closer to the sources of light that it's taking pictures of,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
So it was the same thing with the Hubble, and before that, it was a ground telescope in the Vatican called the Lucifer lens,
Mm. Mm.
right? Now, earlier you mentioned the name of Lisa Channel, the Matrix Unveiled, ties
Mm.
right into what you told me you wanted to discuss tonight, this holographic universe
Mm.
and the infiltration of the training universe and being corrupted by adverse forces.
Indeed, because I thought this was Big Mama's plan. I thought Big Mama said, I'm going to create a universe so I could discover more of myself because I am the all that is. So, in order for me to discover who I am, I'm going to create this universe. And through this universe, I could discover who I am. And it seemed like things went left or something like that. So, got to talk to
Well,
you about that.
if you really look at it, the reference is all things come together for the
Rod, that
greater
sound,
good.
you got to come in and out. That sound when you
Sound now?
sound better.
Okay, where was we at?
I was asking you about the Big Mama and her plan and how it went
Oh
left.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I was telling you that the quote is all things come together for the greater good. So whether it's good, bad, or indifferent, some kind of way we got to salvage the uselessness from it and use it as part of putting together the grand plan. In the secret societies, the grand plan is called the Great Arcana or the Great Work. And the great work is to teach man how to become what we call the perfected man. This is the Leonardo da Vinci painting of the universal man, right? The painting is symbolic of the mirror images of the ego to the soul. So the ego is the self that the society create for you as a autopilot version in case you don't use your free will, you'll be on autopilot
Right.
like an extra in the video game.
Hmm.
So then you have to follow what's called a predestined path.